Okay, going live. We are live on YouTube. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the cafe. Grab your coffee or tea and pull up a chair and let's hang out. I'm Dax Carlisle from the Tarot Guild, celebrating 20 years. Actually, we're 21 years now. Celebrating 20 years. Actually, we're 21 years now. Celebrating 20 years. Actually, we're 21 years. Looks like I got
Uh,
something.
Dex, I think your mic's on YouTube because I've got mine shut off.
Yeah, it was my tab that I had open. See, remember I told you I'm using a new browser?
Yes.
There is no easy way to mute the tab on the new browser before the show starts. The
Nope.
sound has to start and you get a little icon that you can click to turn off the sound. Uh,
Hmm.
on all my other browsers, you right click and there's a mute tab right there. So yeah, working on the technology, folks, and I help everybody at the guild with their technology and build websites and all this kind of thing, but I'm not immune to it, you know. Oh my gosh. Anyway, here we are. Mm, take a little sip of coffee. We got a great show for you today. We're going to chit chat a little bit about, okay, you know, you've studied tarot, you start doing readings for people, practice readings, maybe even got certified at the guild. Now, how do you get money? I know in person, someone can hand you cash, but how do you take credit cards in person? How do you take credit cards online? Most of us read online. How do you do all that? So we're going to talk about that today. But before that, we're going to do card of the day and all that kind of thing. And if you got any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. So if you have a very specific question, type it in the chat. There's no list to get on or anything like that, right? Just type it in. If you don't have a specific question, but you want Pamela or I or both of us to pull some cards for you, just say, "Can I have a message from the universe or your guides or your angels or however you want to say that?" You can jump the line. The way you do that is you buy us a cup of coffee. And the link is in the chat if you scroll up, but it's tarotbiz.com/coffee. Grab us a cup of coffee, $5, $10, 15, and let us know in the chat, and we'll take your question first and no waiting. We'll do it right away. We'll skip the topic. We'll skip the card of the day. We'll skip everything and go right to your question when you buy us a cup of coffee. Yeah.
Because we
Uh,
love coffee.
because we love coffee. Now, I did earlier put in the chat, you'll see a link. It says grab the PDF for today's show. So I made a PDF, which I'm going to be showing you later, with all the different services and different ways to get paid and things like that as a resource. And let me give you guys the link. Here's the link. I put it in the chat, but if you're watching, maybe you're watching an archive or something like that, type in thetarotguild.com/taking dash payments. Make sure you get the dash in there or it won't work. Okay. Um, actually, let me try something here, Pam. I always like to test this stuff out and make sure that I'm not giving the wrong information. So I want to make sure that that link actually works. If you just type it in tarotguild.com/tarot dash payments. And oop, that is not working. That is not working. Hang on a second. Maybe it's without the dash. Is it without the dash? This is very strange. Let me go to my notes, folks. And no, it's taking dash payments according to this. Okay, let me grab that and stick it in the browser here. See, now it's working. I don't understand why it didn't work before.
Because it's a computer and it takes something like a computer to really foul things up.
Yep, yep. Uh
And yet that's what we're doing today is we're discussing digital payments. I use e-transfers a lot, like a lot, because most of my
hold on a
readings.
second. hold
What?
hold hold on just a second
Okay.
because I want to hear what you're saying and I don't want to miss it, but I'm trying to do all this technical stuff all at the same time. Let me bring up my notes here and I'll uh
Mm,
yeah, well, actually, let me do the car of the day and everything, get everything
yeah.
out of the way before we go into the topic because you're going to give great information and then people are going to miss it because I cut out an excerpt of just our conversation about the topic and I put that on a separate video. They're going to miss what you say about how you get payments. So we'll I'll have you talk about how you do that um as soon as we start the topic. Let's do it that way. That way it
Okay.
doesn't get confusing. Okay, this thing is just getting in my way, so I'm going to get rid of that. Alrighty, so let's go to the card of the day. Uh, let me just try one more thing. I'm sorry. Sorry, I shouldn't be doing this all on air. I apologize, but it's just driving me nuts why this payment link isn't working properly. And but yet when I grab the link, HTTPS, yeah, it looks like don't use the www. Okay. Give me just a second. I'm going to change it on screen for everybody. Okay. I think you have to do the link like this. You got to use the HTTPS:// thetarotguild.com taking payments. And the whole idea of this link, the actual link, Pam, is like this long. And
Yeah.
the whole reason why I made this shorter link was because how long it was and the best laid plans. I'm going to put it in the chat and see if it works. See, now in the chat it works perfectly. So I don't know what's going on, but guys, do it this way. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Tarotguild.com taking
Perfect.
payments. Yeah. All righty. We got that squared away. Wow. Sorry, this is like the worst beginning of a podcast I've ever done. Um, Let me just get this card of the day out of the way, folks. So I got the Three of Swords and wasn't super happy when I got the Three of Swords. It's one of those cards you don't want to see to come up. But basically, what it's saying is a shadowy time of grief and disillusionment. You may be experiencing unpleasant and unwanted outcomes. Accept the situation and avoid becoming trapped by negative thinking. Even in the midst of sorrow, know that this too shall pass. This is an opportunity to grow stronger. Take time to heal, and something better will emerge from this situation. You will soon find inspiration again. And I always point out that it's a swords card, thoughts and ideas, not, say, a cups card, emotions. You would think, because we talk about uh, the Three of Swords as in terms of emotion, a time of grief, disillusionment. I forget some of the other keywords for the Three of Swords.
Heartbreak.
Heartbreak's another one. Love triangle. I love that one.
Mm-hmm.
Got a love triangle on. But the thing to remember is it's a swords card, not a cups card. So it's thoughts and ideas. So much of this, when by the time the Three of Swords comes up in a reading, much of this is already passed. And you're just caught up in the thoughts about it. It's like not having necessarily an effect right now. It's how you're thinking about it. So I just like to point that out. Okay.
I pulled a clarifier
Part of
for
the day.
that.
What'd you get?
Believe it or not, I got the Eight of Swords.
There you go. It's
And
perfect though.
this is you shooting yourself in the foot. The only thing stopping you from progressing, the only thing stopping you from moving on, the only thing stopping you is you. And it's about all this stuff that's going on around you. Okay. It is time, past time actually, for you to break that chain And you can do it. If you say I can't, then yeah, you can't. I mean, you're right. But if you say, okay, I'm going to do this, like I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
start one thought at a time. Pay close attention to your thoughts. And this is a big thing about the Eight of Swords. If you don't pay close attention to your thoughts, they are going to take you down. So, what Dax said, and then add this onto it. Okay? Good
Well,
job.
that's a really great reaffirming of what I was saying about the Three of Swords.
Exactly.
It's perfect. You're surrounded by these thoughts and ideas that are blocking you in, and
Mhm.
in reality, you're trapping yourself. Nobody's doing it to you. You know that
Mhm.
that's the main thing. Yep. So before we get to the topic, I see Maria has a question or two in the chat. It's really quiet in the chat right now. By the way, some of our regulars, it's weird. I haven't heard from Rose or Gary or Ellie. And I thought for sure that Gary, maybe Ellie would come on this show because of the topic, fits in with what their knowledge base is. Um, Michelle is under the weather and she's just recovering. So anyway, Maria, what's Maria saying in there? Will you not take my question? No, I didn't say that, Maria. Uh, I was just pointing out that you have questions, but we'll get to your questions and everybody else's questions after the topic. Um, I'm going to give you guys some time. If there's anybody else watching, listening, and you're live with us, go ahead and put your questions in the chat and we'll take them in the order that they came in. Again, unless you buy us a cup of coffee, tarotbiz.com/coffee. But before we get to the topic, we got the card of the day out of the way, but a couple of things. The fall sale is over. If any of you were waiting for the fall sale, waiting to take advantage of it, it's gone. Sorry about that. We also had a Cyber Monday sale that was really good, but that's over too. That's over too. But I got good news for you. We've got our holiday sale. We're into December. I do a holiday sale every year, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever your pleasure. The new year, things like that. But I decided something, Pamela. I was like, you know what? I normally do a post and I put like everything on there and do all these discounts and everything. I'm basically just doing one or two things. I'm doing a package deal, and that's this where you get your membership to the Tarot Guild, your professional certification, and my course all included. So my course normally goes for $299, tarot certification $138 per level, and Tarot Guild membership is basically the cost of a latte a month. It's $650 a month. We charge it annually though. It's $78 the number of cards in a tarot deck. So that's over $500 value. We're taking 60% off. So it's just $199. Go over to tarotbiz.com/holidays. Now, some of you are going to say, well, yeah, but I don't need the course. That's fine too. If you're a member of the guild, go on the private members group on Facebook, and you'll find a link there where you can get your professional certification for half price. So instead of $134, it's $67 per level. And if you're not a member yet, just pop over to tarotbiz.com and join. Like I said, it's $650 a month, $78 a year. Once you join, we'll get you in the private group and you can get your professional certification for half price. And lastly, my readings are on sale 25% off. So instead of $99.99 per session, it's something like $74.99. So you save 25%. It includes, I do tarot and numerology, as well as life coaching, success coaching, business coaching. Maybe you need help with your business. Maybe you need help with your YouTube channel. You need help with social media, your website, anything along those lines, or just a straightforward, you have life questions, career, love, relationships. and you want me to do tarot. It also includes your full numerology chart and a numerology report, a hard copy I email to you, and you can print out of your numerology report. So you always have it. Yeah, all 9 numbers in your chart. And how you use the time is up to you. And that's the other thing I want to mention as far as time goes. I found over the years that I can answer most things in 20 to 30 minutes, up to maybe 40 minutes, So I don't put a time limit on my readings anymore. If it takes 20 minutes, 15 minutes, it takes 20 minutes, right? If it takes a half hour, 40 minutes, if it takes an hour, however long it takes. So I don't put time limits on my sessions. Now, of course, if we're going over an hour, then you're going to have to buy an additional session for sure. But like I said, it almost never gets, you know, over an hour or something like that. What do you find, Pamela? Do your readings
Um,
go on and on?
well, okay, the ones that I do at my office are the ones that people actually literally book and say, I'm going to be here at this time. Most of
Mm-hmm.
them, I'd say 98 to 99% of them want an hour. And what you can go through in an hour can pretty well cover. This is why I like them. They cover between the moment that they're there and the next at least 3 to 6 months, minimum 3 to 6 months. Some
Mm-hmm.
of them can go as much as a year. As this is what you're looking at, this is where you are in your path, this is what on and on and on. And but when I'm at these different shows that I've been doing for the
Yeah.
last ever, um, I started out doing 15-minute readings, but everybody kept, well, what about this? What about that? So look, we're gonna bump it to a half an hour. Well, I just wanted 15. Yeah, but you're still talking. So
Uh,
then all I offer now at these shows are half-hour readings. And I do a little bit of a discount for these things because I mean these a lot of people they've never had a reading in their lives. And so what I'm seeing though is that half an hour is more than enough, especially for one, the uninitiated, and two, somebody that's coming back for a repeat. They just need a checkup, then we can do it
oh
in half
yeah.
an hour easy. So that's actually half an hour almost seems too short sometimes, and then other times it's just never going to end. It
Yeah,
just,
yeah. Well, especially with returning clients, what I find
yeah.
is uh I'll do something a little longer because typically I get all their information ahead of time. To do your numerology chart, I need the name on your birth certificate, your actual name, the name you most commonly go by now. How do people know you now? And it might be your married name or a shortened name. Maybe you have a 3 or 4 name on your birth certificate, but you go by John Doe, and or maybe you have a nickname, whatever you most commonly go by, and your birth date. So birth certificate name, common name, and birth date. And I'll make up their chart. I'll create a report from that, very detailed report, make it into a PDF. And I'll typically send that out to the client before the reading. And then, unless I'm doing a, instant reading. Um, and then when we first get on, I'll go through the numerology report with them and answer any of their questions. So that takes a chunk of time, but it also answers a lot of their questions. And either they find that I've answered the question, 1 or 2 of the questions that they wanted me to pull cards on, and now we don't have to pull cards, or their question has changed because of the information in the numerology report. So we pulled cards on a different question or set of questions. And then typically, like I said, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, however long it takes. Now, when they come back to me, we've already done the numerology report. So I'll bring up their numerology chart to refresh my memory, but we don't have to go over the numerology chart. And typically we've answered a lot of their questions. So when they're coming back a couple weeks later, a couple months later, whatever it is, they have 1 or 2 quick questions. And, those are very short. Sometimes I'll do it all on chat. They'll contact me on Facebook Messenger and say, hey, you got time? Oh, absolutely. Here's the payment link, which is what we're talking about today. And they'll hit the link, or they're there on Messenger. If they're in the United States and they have their debit card attached to their Messenger, like I do, then they just send me the funds and it comes right out of their bank through their debit card into my debit card, right into my bank instantaneously, no fees. So without even getting to the topic yet, I pretty much covered it. Basically just use Facebook Messenger. There are no fees. It is the greatest thing. But I'm going to give you other examples of that are similar, that also don't charge you fees. But I'll get onto the chat with them and I'll ask them, they'll send me the funds over Facebook Messenger, and I'm like, is it okay if we just do it here? Do you want me to turn on my camera, audio, or just text? And half the time they just go, oh, let's just text. And they'll type out their question and I'll pull cards. Sometimes I'll actually take pictures of the card and send it through Messenger to them while we're talking, and I'll type back answers and the last things, and I'll type back, and we're done. It's like 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, boom, kind of thing. So I love returning clients, and I usually do a big discount if they're a returning client. We're only going to do 10, 15 minutes. Yeah. So let's see. I think we've covered everything. The only thing, I put the links to the holiday sale, the package deal, and to my sessions that are on sale. Because if you go to my page, if you hit the button, it's $99.99. So you want to get it on the sessions page. The only thing is I forgot to mention the URL to everybody else. So it's tarotbiz.com/sessions. That'll take you over where the discount button is, and you can get it for $74.99 with your numerology chart and everything. So impromptu lead in into the topic today, because it came up, because it always does. How do you get paid? So you're studying tarot. Maybe you took my course and you start reading for family and friends and acquaintances, and you're trying to get some confidence. You're getting pretty good at it, maybe even get certified through the guild. And then, okay, I'm ready, but how do I make money? Yeah, in-person readings, they can still give you cash, but what about if they're not in person?
Or people that don't carry cash, which is kind of weird sometimes.
Yes,
But
most
they do,
people.
yeah,
They have a
or they
credit
just,
card, they have a debit card. So you need
yeah,
a way to take their payments. And those of you that are younger or are tech savvy, and you already have all the apps, and you can just take money. It's not a big deal. But for a lot of us, even and yeah, advanced age like Pamela and I, but even in the 40s and 50s, some people aren't sure. And it's not just that, it's also what's the best ones and how are you going to
yeah.
save the most money. So how do you do it, Pamela?
Where I live here in Alberta, Canada, we
Mhm.
have a thing called interact payments. Okay, it's an
Interact.
e-transfer, and kind of like what you were talking about. They use their phones and just go into their bank, and all they need is my email address, no other information, and they
Mm,
can within seconds transfer the funds to my account. And you can set it up to where they have to have a password, but some people, like, you tell them, okay, at first it was, okay, you'll need a password. Okay, well, use the word tarot. Well, one, they could misspell it. Oh, yay.
right.
And two, they would forget what they were supposed to. One woman, actually, her secret question was, what's my husband's favorite color? I didn't even know she was married. So I really couldn't tell you. That was a good one. But yeah, it's
My
e-transfers for
password
me.
is pay me.
Yeah, damn it. But, and, but honestly, I've never, other, if they really need to use a debit or anything like that, I've also got PayPal, you know,
Yeah,
and for
PayPal's
people that don't like
been the
PayPal, I'm
go-to for
sorry.
25 years, you know.
Well, yeah. And I mean, that's something else I've told him is all you have to do is, you know, by the way, if you're paying me with PayPal, you are covering the cost of exchanging it, you know,
Oh,
because
okay,
quite
yeah.
frankly, you know, they PayPal takes a cut.
That's
And
one of my reasons I stopped using PayPal.
yeah, and I totally agree with that. That's why I don't really promote it. But if they insist, sure, you know.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
had one lady actually sent me a bank draft, mailed it. And by the time I got it, everything was in place. And then I contacted her and said, okay, I got your payment. It took me 2 weeks, but that was okay. She didn't care. She was just,
Yeah.
you know, she was happy with it. I'm okay.
So one of the short answers is how do they want to pay? You know,
Exactly.
and I resisted this for years. I only use PayPal. Then I started having problems with PayPal, and I'm not going to go into that. But in addition to my, and I'm talking about problems with just my account, not the rest of you are fine. Okay. But I started having other problems, like I switched to a business account. Now, a lot of you have personal PayPal accounts. When you have a business account, they want to do everything to take that payment as a business payment, which it actually is. But I want them to do family and friends. So again, I don't get charged these fees. So it's what's called a peer-to-peer transfer.
Hmm.
And I found other apps do this easier, better, and also the international fees. A lot of people
Yes,
want to use PayPal internationally, and I'm fine with that, but it's going to cost more.
it
And when I
does
say,
because they charge you for the exchange, and then
yeah,
generally the
it's
bank
going to
charges
cost
a
me
fee.
more. That's the
Yeah,
thing,
huge.
and so I either have to pass that on to the client or eat it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't recommend using PayPal unless that's your thing. If it's your thing and you've been doing it for 20 years and you don't want to change, but this is the thing. People started coming to me say, can I use Venmo? Can I use Zelle? Can I use Cash
Square.
App? And so I had to start downloading these apps because I wasn't going to say no to a client. All right. And they all work the same way pretty much. And they're all pretty easy, and you download them on your phone. So I highly recommend have as many payments as you possibly can. Dion in chat says Chime sends money for free. So Chime is an app you can download and you can get a free checking account too, by the way, with no fees, which is really cool. Um, and yeah, you absolutely can use Chime. I'm going to tell you some of, oh God, trying to move my chair here. I'm going to tell you some of my favorites though. Oh, let me share my screen because I have the PDF up. So hopefully you guys have already downloaded the PDF, but if you haven't, this is what it looks like. Taking payments as a professional reader. Now, there's a lot of ways. Everybody, we talked about the apps, but there's way more than that, right? So the first way that you can make money and take payments is the psychic advisor platforms. And so we already did a show on that, so I'm not going to rehash it. But I have the PDF, and it wasn't up on our new website. It was on the old website, so I had to go and set that up. Let me grab the. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it into the chat for everybody. If you don't have the platforms PDF, there it is in chat, and those of you watching in archive on screen, do the https //thetarotguild.com/platforms PDF, all one word, and that will pop up as a download, and just click download, and you can download it to your phone, your tablet, your iPad, your laptop, your computer. And so that's a way. Okay. California Psychics, Ranum, Keen, Kasamba, get onto these, and they do it all for you. So you don't have to, mess with technology. And so it's very convenient. It's a great way to start out, but they're going to take a huge percentage. Now, I I really don't care about the percentage so much, because I know that they're paying millions of dollars to advertise on TV and radio and promote these platforms. And so uh, just keep in mind, though, that they're taking 50, 60%, 70%, 40%. It's different on each platform. And it's also different on by the amount of revenue you're bringing in, and different things where they'll adjust and maybe give you a higher percentage take, but say roughly 50%. So whatever you want to make per minute, so you have your readings, and so mine are roughly 99.90, say $100, right? And then divide that by the number of minutes in an hour, and that's going to give you, whatever you're charging for an hour reading. If you divide by 60, you're going to get your per minute. Now, keep in mind that the platform's charging you, or not charging you, but is taking a big percentage, 50, 60, 70%. Let's just go with 50%. So if you calculate out that I need to charge, let's say you need to charge $2.99 a minute, double it. So do $5.99 a minute or $6.99 a minute. And that way you're covering the percentage that the platform is going to take, and you're still making what you need to make per minute per hour. Okay. So that's one way. And then we've got creator platforms. Actually, I'm going to do that last. I'm going to go right to peer-to-peer. So there's the peer-to-peer one that Pamela was talking about in Kanyata, that far away country, millions of miles away up north.
The frozen north.
The
It's freaking
frozen
cold.
north. But there's a lot. There's a lot. And by the way, the funny thing is, a lot of these apps that are better than PayPal are owned by PayPal.
Yeah.
So, first on the peer-to-peer list, and what we're saying by peer-to-peer is it's from person to person, the transaction. Like I said earlier, they send you the funds on an app. You can do it through Messenger this way, Facebook Messenger, and then all these apps. And the money comes out of your bank account through your debit card into their debit card and into their bank account. That's how that works. And I've used Venmo a lot. I've used Cash App a little bit. I've used Zelle a lot. I've never used Google Pay. No one ever said I want to pay with Google Pay. Apple Pay, yes, I've taken payments via Apple Pay. I have Apple products. I have an iPhone, and it's very convenient. And even in person, because you can just be right next to each other and put your phones next to each other, and boom, you're done. And I've got a cool thing on that with one of the other payment systems in a little bit. But there's some of these I've never even heard of. There's Revolut, there's Wise. Payoneer I know, because when I was working through Aranum, they would pay out through Payoneer. And Payoneer is basically Europe's PayPal, basically. And then Zoom, which is also another international remittance service owned by PayPal. My suggestion is get yourself, make sure you have a PayPal account, because I know somebody's going to want to pay that way. But if you can steer them to the more modern ones, download Venmo, download Cash App, download Zelle on your phone, get it all set up. So
What
those
about
are
Square?
okay, that's what we're getting to. That's not a
Oh,
peer-to-peer.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Now let's go to payment processing services for businesses. These, and there's a lot of caveats with this. Okay. These are not peer-to-peer. These are services that process payments. And so unlike the peer-to-peer, where you can send funds absolutely free, there's going to be a charge. Is it a lot? No. I mean, it's all over the place with these different services, but it's roughly 30 cents per transaction and 2.9% of the sale. So every $100 they're sending you, $2.90 is going to go at plus 30 cents. So $3.20 of that sale is going to go to the payment processor. Okay. And there's a bunch of them. The ones I know are the top three. Authorized.net. I haven't used that in a decade, but that used to be the main one for processing on your website. So you have a website and you've got uh trying to think of the term for it, but you're doing e-marketing, and whether you're selling a product, a digital download, a service, which is what we're talking about, you would take payments and they would go through authorized.net. More commonly now it's Square and Stripe. Now on some platforms, not on your own personal website, you can set up whatever you want. But if you're on a platform, which we're going to talk about in just a minute, creator platforms, some of them only take Stripe and PayPal. Some take Square and Stripe. Different one. Now, is there a huge amount of difference? Not really, but hands down, for me, Square is the best thing out there. So what's wrong with Stripe? Nothing. You set it up on your website and, through your e-commerce system and stuff like that. What I like about Square is you could do a lot more with payment links and things where you're not having to deal with even going through an e-commerce system to set it up. Stripe is really for business. Okay. There's another factor though, is that certain industries, like anything psychic, is considered higher risk. There's more possibility of chargebacks and things like that. You know what I mean, Pam?
Yeah, I do.
By chargebacks. And so Stripe is very iffy on allowing you to use Stripe for taking payments for psychic services. There's a way around this. Okay. So I have my Stripe account. My Stripe account is Dax Carlisle Coaching. I don't mention anything psychic. Okay. So, and by the way, I actually have two accounts on, or two different locations on the same account. And one of them is Dax Carlisle Hypnosis, and one of them is Dax Carlisle Coaching. And depending on what I'm doing or what website I'm using that account on, we'll decide which one I pick. But both of them, hypnosis is not and coaching, they're not considered risky like anything psychic is. And psychic readings are put into the same boat as like porn. Paying for porn access. That's how bad it is. Some platforms will just outright ban it. And so, you can't do any transactions. And most of these here actually will not do XXX rated type transactions. There are special payment processors that deal in that will accept those. You see the porn websites and things like that. They can't go through Stripe and Square and authorized.net. They have to use these other third-party things.
And how do you know all this, Dax?
And how do I know all that? Well, actually, because when I was researching signing up for Stripe and Square for like my very first websites decades ago, all this information, they give you all this information. And so it's all right there in black and white, what we consider high risk, what we may or may not accept, what we absolutely will not accept. It's all in there.
And that's your story and you're sticking to it.
That's my story and I'm sticking to it, damn it. Other things I like about Square. Give me just a sec.
Is this where we play the little interlude music? Or no, he was fast.
No, it didn't take long. It's just across the room. I had this in my head earlier today. It's like, oh, make sure you get your Square card so you can show people. And then I completely forgot it. Now, if you've seen the banner for today's show, you've already seen this. but I wanted to show it on camera. And so another thing that I like a lot about Square is you're not just setting up or signing up. You're not just signing up for a processor. All those processors you saw listed, including Stripe, they're just process. Whereas Square, as soon as you sign up and as soon as you have, let's say, put in different locations for different things you're doing, each one of those gets its own checking account automatically, no fees. And then you can get physical checks printed. But the easiest way is to have a debit card. Each one of those accounts, each one of those locations has its own checking account, which you can get a debit card. Actually, I have another one in here that I want to get out real quick. Okay. So I told you I have that one. One of my locations is the Tarot Guild. And it's kind of hard because it's white to see you can kind of see the Square logo. Sorry, up here. This
Yeah.
yeah. So this is a regular debit card, MasterCard, for my checking account for the location called the Tarot Guild. And by the way, I've had it for a really long time, and Square's never come to me and said, "You're doing psychic services, we're shutting you down." So don't know if they changed their policy. Maybe they never had the policy. Maybe it was just Stripe and authorized.net. Here's another one. Dax Carlisle Hypnosis. So this is another location that I have a debit card for when I'm seeing hypnosis clients. That way I keep them all separate. But you get your own debit cards. Maybe you only have one location, you have one debit card. And both online and in person, you never have to bother to transfer the funds that have come in to a separate bank account, Chase, Navy, Federal Credit, which is what I have. I used to have Chase, I got rid of it. Wells Fargo, whatever it is in the United States that you use and whatever it is you use in your country, you don't have to go through that transferring funds. And if it's an instant transfer, it's going to cost you like 1.75% or something like that of the sale. If you're not doing instant, then it takes 1 to 3 days. So it might be 3 days. Some overseas banks, it might take 5 days before it gets into your account.
Okay, quick question here. Um, what denomination funds do they use? Or do you set that up? Like
Um,
my online
I,
business is all in US funds, but I have US accounts, but I also have Canadian
right.
accounts.
And I'm not an expert on this stuff. I can only tell you what I've done. I have never had to go in and tell it what funds to process and anything like that. On
And which
PayPal,
denomination? Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
now on PayPal, you don't have to do anything either. You just give them their link, and when they click on there, it's going to know where they are or what card they're using and what country that's in, and it's going to change it into their funds, Canadian, German, UK,
Mhm.
whatever it is, Australia, and then it's going to go through the exchange rate and come out as dollars on my side.
Yeah,
And
but I'll tell you this right now, they take a massive chunk out of the exchange. And I know that
especially PayPal. That's why I don't use
that's
PayPal.
the one. That's why I
Yeah,
cut everything out except the most basic one I had. And that's only because on
I
the rare occasion somebody needs to use it.
I just had Susie. You guys may know her as All the Aces Tarot. She's got a fabulous website. It's called All the Aces. If you have, write it all together and put .com at the end. All the Aces Tarot.com is Susie's website. And she just joined the guild and got certified all the way through master. And I gave her a special deal on that. And she's in the UK, and I just gave her the Square. I made a Square link and I just gave it to her. And I'm not going to go into detail about all this because uh, if you're a member of the guild, you get an hour or two with me free every month. I don't know if you knew that. But yeah, I don't charge members of the guild. If you're already a member, just shoot me a message on Facebook Messenger is the fastest way, or dax@tarotbiz.com and say, hey, I want to chit chat about process. And I'll share my screen like I was earlier, and I'll show you the back end of Square. I'll show you how to make a link, and all that. In addition to having your own debit card, though, where you never have to, and your own checking account, so you on Square, so you never have to move it to your personal checking account, your business checking account, unless you want to. Maybe that's what you want to do. But also taking payments is so much easier. So you can create those payment links I just told you about. You give them the link, they click, go over there, put in their information, boom, you're done. If you're in person, it's beautiful. PayPal does this too, I think. But we used to have phones that had audio jacks, and you would plug in a slider where you could slide the card. Most phones don't have audio jacks anymore. So Square will give you readers where you can just tap to read, or other ones that still old fashioned use the stripe, the magnetic, and you slide it, and whole POS, that's called point of sale, POS systems. You can get all that through Square. Some you have to pay for, some are free. Then there's the Square app, which is really cool. So you go on to, and I should have had this all set up, but if I go into my finance and I go into, gosh, I'm having trouble finding this stuff.
You shouldn't hide it on yourself. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah, well, that's the see. I just got a new phone, and I'm still setting it up. So I don't know. Actually, I don't know where I put my Square.
My
Maybe,
husband ran over my old phone. It was an accident, total accident. I dropped it, he ran over it.
yeah. Anyway,
And
I'm
so
not.
this
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna
are still
bother.
occurring.
I
Yeah,
tell you
fair
what.
enough.
I tell you what. I don't want to. I don't want to slow down the show because we still have to get the readings. Uh, but I'll do it on a different show and go through it, or like I said, one on one. I'll share my desktop with you on a Zoom call, and I'll show you. But the main thing I wanted to say was that you just bring up the app, you put in how much money you're charging them, you take their card, you put it on the top of your phone, boom, you're done. You don't even need a slider anymore. So fantastic. And I don't know what other platforms do that. I think PayPal might now. You might still have to have a slider. I'm not sure. That's why, I don't even bother with it. I don't bother with all these other processors. I just use Square. Now, when I say that, let me pop back here real quick. Ooh, I pushed the wrong button. Let's see. I just want the PDF. Hopefully this will bring up just the PDF. Saying that, I don't mean apps. I mean, as far as payment processing services, unless I'm on building a website on a platform where I can't use Square, I have to use Stripe, I'll still use Stripe. Those are the two that I use. I stay away from PayPal for payment processing. Um, if a client asks for it, I'll do it, but I try not to do it. I try to use one of these other apps. So I'm not saying only use Square. What I'm saying is, for most of your processing, for payment links where you create buttons on your websites, for in-person swiping of cards, and it's Square is just the way to go. But also have PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, and Zelle at the very least. Maybe Google Pay and Apple Pay on your phone. All right. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about is creator platforms. So this is kind of halfway between a psychic advisor platform and a peer-to-peer or your own website where you have Square. Um, they allow you to take payments. Some of them, like when you set up your Stan Store, I think Stan Store uses Stripe or PayPal. They only charge you the processing fees. They don't charge you a platform fee. A lot of these other platforms, which you guys probably know a lot of them, I haven't named a lot of them, and that's on purpose because they charge fees. The only one on here is Hipsy, uh, charges a platform fee. And the reason why I went ahead and said, okay, I'm going to mention Hipsy is because it's completely, especially made for psychic advisors. So let me open Hipsy real quick and give you a quick show. And we're gonna do an episode where it's all Hipsy and Stan Store. So I'm not gonna, show you a lot on here, but just real quick, uh I keep doing the whole, I'm trying to do just the window. There we go. Okay. So y'all can see this, Pam.
Yes.
So this is Hipsy, and like California Psychics or any other platform, people can come here and find you. The difference is that they don't do as much marketing as, say, California Psychics, something like that. So mainly you're going to do this if you want a simple system where you're going to be able to take payments. And also because of, unlike on other platforms where you're just putting links and stuff like that, here by a reading from me, they have per minute, and they have it by video, phone call, everything. It is just wow. It's really cool. Now, between the processing fee, processing payments, and their platform fee, it comes out to roughly 20%, which is a lot less than if, say, you're on a Random or California Psychics or Keen or Kasamba. It's a lot less. That's why I'm willing to promote that. See my creator studio. See if I can. I'm just finding out about this. It was Dr. Rose that told me about Hipsy. And mine is hipsy.com/Dax. I was able to get just my first name. Super cool. And you'll recognize this background from the Tarot Guild website and our Psychic Cafe shows. There's the Tarot Guild logo. There's me. And people can book chat sessions, phone sessions, video sessions. I have $3.99 per minute on there right now. I'm not saying necessarily that's what I'm actually going to do. Then I have full custom numerology reports and get my quick opinion one for 2222 and numerology reports for 4444. And people book these and it pops in and you have them listed and you just record a video and send it to the client, and it can be all done through the platform, which is really, really cool. And the same thing with the phone readings, the video readings, and the chat readings. You have a little blurb down here about me. You pick what kind of categories you have. And look at this, Pam. If you put your YouTube channel in, it even pulls in your videos, like the
Oh,
one we're on
cool.
right now.
That is
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah. And what I like about that is, like a Random that's heavy in a video, they can watch some of your videos, get to know and like and trust you, and then they're going to buy a session with you. And if I go to my creator studio, there's the live stream manager. So if you're going live on one of your platforms, TikTok, YouTube, uh, Instagram, and you're live now, you just click live now and you're able to set up what during the show they can buy. You can give like a free yes no and then a one question reading for $10. You can change these amounts to anything you want. 3-card draw, a love reading. This is just what came with the platform. I haven't even messed around with it yet. So these are services you can add for during a live. And then also you can schedule your live. You can tell them, which of the services you want to offer during the live, where you're going to do it. So like if I select all, where you're going to do it, like you're going to choose, and I'm going to click now. So it brings this up, and then you choose where you're streaming: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. It is so cool. And then what it does is it brings up after this goes through on their platform, Hipsy, it tells everybody that you're live. And also you can give out the link. Mine is hipsy.com/Dax while you're live on your YouTube show or your Instagram. And they can go over there. And when they buy one of those services, it'll put it all in queue so that you can go through each one of them. And if you don't want to answer one of them or something like that, or the person left or whatever, you can click a button, it goes away, and they're automatically refunded on Hipsy's end, and you don't have to deal with refunds or anything like that. And then on this tab, it's going to list all your upcoming lives. Then there's the private one-on-one sessions. This is where you set up, you don't have to take video. You don't have to take chat. You don't have to take phone. You can turn these on and off, and you can set whatever amount you want. You can set a welcome incentive. So you can turn this off, or I have it on. So their first 10 minutes is 75% discount, or scheduled incentives like 5% discount if they're doing a 20-minute reading. If they're doing a 60-minute reading, they get a 20% discount, or you can shut all that off. And you can set up your availability Monday through Friday. What are your days you're available and times. And so it's an automatically built-in booking calendar. Super cool, but it is a little expensive because it's charging you 20%. But the nice thing about that, folks, is that there's nothing to set it up. I was able to set that up 100% free. You only pay the processing fee and the platform fee when you make money, which is really, really cool. Now, Stan Store is similar, but it's not aimed at just psychics and tarot readers, So it has a lot of the same things, like a booking calendar, so they can book sessions with you. Digital downloads. This is something which you can kind of get on a Hipsy, but it's not quite as good as Stan Store. And so you can sell guides and things like that, low ticket items. You can sell whole video courses on here. This one's $129. You can sell a $499, a $2,000 course, anything you want. And it's an automatic website for you. This is what it looks like. And then that's on desktop. On phone, it's designed for phone. It gets vertical like this. And what's really cool, zero transaction fees. It's just the cost of processing the credit card or debit card, but there's no platform fees. Okay. And it replaces your calendar and your course builder and your website platform and your link tree. And you can do instant Instagram automatic DMs. I'm not going to get into all this because it's complicated, but things that would cost you hundreds of dollars, and it's $29 a month. So I think that platform is totally worth it. I would do Stan Store and or Hipsy myself, and then also have those apps on your phone in case someone says, "Hey, I got Zelle. Can I send it to you? Hey, I got Venmo. Can I send you the funds?" Don't forget Facebook Messenger, though. That's my favorite one because I always tell people for fastest communication, message me on Facebook, and then right then and there, I can send them a payment request. And then also For your website, if you're going to have a website, get Square or Stripe or both. Um, if you're doing one of the platforms though, like Stan or Hipsy, you don't need a website really. Honestly, you don't, And then of course, as a member of the guild, uh, you get a free page on tarotbiz.com, which I can set up all these payment buttons for you. So there you go. That's how to take payments. And if there's any questions in chat or anything like that, I gotta back to the chat room. I'm on the wrong browser here. Alrighty. And we got a couple of minutes here. We might be able to take some questions. I'll go more in depth into the platforms, Stanstore and Hipsy, on a future broadcast. I want to get Ellie in on that, and also I'll talk more about our pages and, how you can get your own page, tarotbiz.com/your name. And we'll put all your payments on there. Or maybe you want a booking app. We'll put your calendar on there for you and stuff. There was a question. Let's see, heart chakra medium came in. Thanks for sharing resources. You're welcome. Grab that PDF if you haven't already. I'm looking to see. I think the only question that came in was maybe from Maria.
I didn't see any others.
Yeah, she had like 2 questions though.
I thought we only allowed one per customer.
Yeah, 1 per customer, Maria. I'm wondering, do you feel that Philip has had some intimate chats with women on that? I'm not going to do psychic peeping Toming. Not going to do that. And then some of this stuff we've already answered, Maria. Well, what do you really want to know? And then let me just mention real quickly that if you want to get a hold of Pam or myself or any of our hosts or staff members, most of us are on the advisors page, which you can get on as well as a member of the Tarot Guild, and if you're certified. And that is the wrong button. Where is it? Readings. There you go. Go to tarotbiz.com/readings, and you'll see Pam right there and me. And you can book a reading with us. Again, the website, tarotbiz.com. Go over there and click the join now to join.
You'll be glad you did.
You'll be glad you did. Yeah. And I
Do that
already
for yourself for the holiday season. If you haven't done it already, that's your Yuletide or Christmas present.
Grab the holiday sale. It's $199,
Yeah.
60% off. And you'll get your membership. You'll when you're ready to get certified, it's paid for. My entire course, $299 course, all included. The other thing I wanted to mention is, of course, buy us a cup of coffee. But real quick, our upcoming shows, which I can't get it to work here, had trouble with links this show, Pamela. So our next show is next Saturday, December 13th. It's Letting Go and Releasing, perfect for this World Year of 9 on Michelle's Mystic Corner. And then that Sunday, the December 14th, we'll be back here talking about Lead Magnets 101, creating a free tarot guide or some other PDF, to grow your list, because email is still king. And then through the rest of December, we've got planning for the new year, another perfect topic that Michelle picked for her Michelle's Mystic Corner. That's December 20th. Sunday, December 21st. It's our Tarot and Tinsel show, our winter solstice / holiday show. Okay, Christmas, Hanukkah, what have you. We're just going to have fun on that show. And then the last weekend of the month, Saturday, December 27th, is Michelle's monthly Crown Share Saturday. Bring your deck, because we're going to be doing readings together. And on that Mystic Corner, if you're a member of the guild, you can join us here on the Zoom, um like Pamela and I are doing right now. And that last Sunday of the month, December 28th, the truth about general readings on YouTube. Do they actually drive sales? We're going to chit chat a little bit about, doing these readings, especially the ones where it's just your fingers. And then, hey, it's 2026, folks. We're into the new year. The first show of the new year will be Sunday, January 4th. And we're going to be ringing in the new year. Hopefully, Pamela and Ellie and Michelle will be recovered, and uh, maybe even, Gary, Dr. Rose, maybe even Michelle's hubby, who's a certified tarot reader, member of the guild. Uh, Dan, we can get everybody on at the same time. Be really cool. And we're just going to hang out on that one. We're going to talk about how to start the year off right. A little mini topic. Uh, but mainly it's just going to be us chit chatting, live chat in the chat room on YouTube, and some readings. There you go. Okay, so that's everything coming up. And let's see. Did I don't think Maria clarified. Da, da, da. Uh, I think I already pulled cards on someone coming in next year. Or are you going to reconcile with Philip? I think I already did that, Maria, but let me pull a couple. Oh, there you go. So anybody that knows my readings, when I on these shows, when I do relationship readings, I'm looking for the court cards. First card to come out, Knight of Swords. Second card to come out, Page of Swords. That answers the question, Maria. There are already people in the wings next year ready to come in, and it's not Philip. I think that's everything. I think that's all the questions. We went a little over, Pam, but not too bad.
Not bad.
I'm
Not like
glad
we
you.
can, not like we have done.
Yes, yes, and I'm trying to get it down. Some of these topics that I have set up coming up, I've taken topics and I've broken them into even smaller topics so that they're 20 minutes and not 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm. Maybe we can start doing shorter shows for next year. Get them down to 45 minutes, and boom. That would be really
Might work.
cool.
We'll see. We can try.
But I'm glad you joined me on the show, because I didn't know if anybody was going to be with me, because I knew Michelle was sick. Hadn't heard from Gary or Ellie or even Dr. Rose. She usually pops into the chat. And yeah, so they're all busy. So it was just us, but it was fun. Thanks for being
Always.
here. And if you guys have any questions about payment processing, payment apps, if you're a member of the guild, just shoot me a message. I'll jump on Zoom. If you're not a member of the guild, grab one of my holiday sessions, tarotbiz.com/sessions. It's $74.99. And I'll spend an hour with you, showing you any technology or anything you want to know. You can ask any questions you want. All righty. So we're going to get out of here. Thanks everybody for being here as well. And we will see you. Well, I'll be here in the wings on Saturday for Michelle's show next week. Bye, Pam.
Bye, guys.